Have you ever witnessed something so deeply unfair that, for just one fleeting second, it felt as though the entire world stood still? A moment so unsettling that even time itself seemed to hesitate before moving forward again? Now, picture this: 35,000 feet above the Earth, in the luxurious, serene atmosphere of a first-class cabin. A poised black woman, exuding quiet confidence, takes her seat, settling in with the ease of someone accustomed to such spaces. Across the aisle, a flight attendant moves with an air of precision and authority. Yet, despite her professionalism, she makes a critical miscalculation. Her assumptions cloud her judgment, preventing her from recognizing the true power sitting just a few feet away from her. What unfolds next is more than just an awkward misunderstanding. It is a collision, an unavoidable confrontation between deeply ingrained prejudice and undeniable authority. And the result? A revelation so powerful that it sends ripples of shock through every passenger on board. Buckle up, because this isn't just any flight. This is a journey that will challenge perspectives, shake the foundations of bias, and redefine the meaning of respect at 35,000 feet. Chapter 1. The flight that would change everything. The day began like any other at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, one of the busiest air hubs in the world. Thousands of travelers moved through its terminals, each carrying their own stories, their own destinations. Among them was Dr. Celeste Monroe, a striking woman in her early 40s. Tall, elegant, and effortlessly composed, she exuded both intelligence and warmth. Dressed in a tailored charcoal gray pantsuit, her curly hair swept into a flawless bun, Celeste was the embodiment of grace and authority. Though she was known for commanding rooms filled with aviation experts, today, she was just another passenger. At least, that's what most assumed. What few people knew was that Dr. Monroe wasn't just any traveler. She was the Director of Airspace Safety for the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. A woman responsible for decisions that shaped the very skies planes flew through. After 3 grueling days of high-stakes meetings, crafting safety frameworks that would impact flights nationwide, this trip was supposed to be a moment of reprieve. As she settled into her plush first-class seat, she exhaled slowly. For the first time in days, she allowed herself a moment of stillness. But that peace wouldn't last long. Chapter 2. The Subtle Signs. As passengers trickled into first class, the cabin filled with soft murmurs of conversation. An older couple across the aisle excitedly discussed their upcoming Alaskan cruise, while just behind Celeste, a young tech executive wrapped up a last-minute call, issuing brisk instructions into his headset. Celeste distracted herself with the in-flight magazine, flipping through articles about cutting-edge aircraft designs and luxurious vacation destinations. She was so absorbed that she didn't notice the flight attendant at first. Veronica Tate, a senior flight attendant with nearly 2 decades of experience, made her way down the aisle. Her uniform was impeccable, her posture straight, her sharp eyes scanning each passenger with practiced efficiency. But when her gaze landed on Celeste, something subtle changed. There was a flicker, just a brief hesitation. Confusion? Distrust? It was hard to say. And then, just as quickly, the expression vanished, replaced by the smooth mask of professionalism. As Veronica moved through the cabin, she poured champagne for the older couple, handed sparkling water to the tech executive, and continued serving drinks. Celeste, however, she was completely overlooked. At first, she dismissed it. Mistakes happened. But in her line of work, gut instincts were everything. And something about the way Veronica's eyes had lingered on her, something about that hesitation, left her with a gnawing sense of unease. Chapter 3. The First Challenge. Just before the boarding doors closed, Veronica returned, this time, stopping directly in front of Celeste's seat. "Ma'am," she said, her tone cool and measured. "May I see your boarding pass, please?" Celeste blinked, surprised. This wasn't standard procedure. But she remained composed, offering a polite smile as she retrieved the pass from her blazer pocket. "Of course," she said, handing it over. Veronica took it, scrutinizing it far longer than necessary. Her eyes flickered with something unreadable. Then, forcing a tight-lipped smile, she handed it back. "Thank you, Dr. Monroe. Enjoy your flight." Celeste nodded, slipping the boarding pass away. But a faint tension had taken root in her shoulders. She told herself not to overthink it. And yet, the feeling wouldn't quite leave her. Chapter 4. A Growing Unease. After takeoff, as the crew began the cabin service, Celeste noticed something impossible to ignore. Once again, Veronica passed by her without so much as a glance. The older couple exchanged confused glances. Even the young executive furrowed his brows, noticing the blatant oversight. Still, Celeste gave the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps an accident? A minor slip-up? But when she finally raised a hand to request a drink, Veronica turned away sharply, ignoring her. That was no accident. A few moments later, a junior flight attendant, Rosa Martinez, appeared. "Excuse me," Celeste said with a polite but firm tone. "I haven't been offered anything. Could I have a glass of water?" Rosa's eyes widened in shock. "Oh my goodness, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'll get that for you right away." She returned quickly, a sincere smile on her face, as she placed the water down. But before she could walk away, Veronica appeared. "I'll handle this," Veronica said sharply, her tone clipped. She turned to Celeste, her expression unreadable. "Dr. Monroe, I need to verify your ticket again." Celeste's patience thinned. "You already have," she replied, holding up the same boarding pass. "What exactly are you trying to confirm?" Veronica's jaw tightened. "We've had reports of passengers moving into first class without authorization," she said smoothly. "I just need to be certain everything is in order." Celeste's eyes narrowed. "This ticket is valid. This is my assigned seat." Yet Veronica didn't seem to hear her. "I need to check with a gate agent," she announced, disappearing into the galley. A ripple of unease spread through the cabin. Passengers whispered. "Jack," the older gentleman muttered. "That doesn't seem right." Celeste sat still. Calm, but alert. Something was very, very wrong. What happens next? What happens when authority meets blatant discrimination? How does the truth come to light? And what shocking revelation leaves an entire plane in stunned silence? Stay tuned for the next part of this gripping story. And if you believe in standing against injustice, at any altitude, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because fairness should always take flight.